So, we become aware of the diaphragm when it's not feeling well, but when it's in the normal daily activities, we're kind of not really aware of it. The thing is that yogis get so utterly fascinated with breathing that there's this attention all the time to, am I in a position, am I moving in a way that is really letting my diaphragm do what it needs to do? Yeah. It's a different kind of focus. Okay.
On inhalation, the diaphragm contracts and descends to a wider, flatter shape, which causes the air to enter the lungs. On exhalation, the diaphragm relaxes and returns to its domed position.
Okay, so let's come to a position of choice. I'm going to choose to sit, but you can lie down if you like. And we're just going to see if we can feel that one. Thank you, Sandra. That one piece. We briefly touched upon this earlier when we were really just looking at following or accompanying the natural breath. We're doing pretty much the same thing now, except that we want to give a little bit more attention to what is actually happening here in the lower rib cage. When I'm teaching, I often have people use a strap and bring the strap around the lower back ribs right here. You can do that also lying down. If you don't have a strap, you can bring the back of your hands to your lower back ribs. So there's something touching those lower ribs in the back body. Why? Because most people have absolutely no sensitivity to their back body. And it starts to shift the nervous system, and it starts to calm the crura of the diaphragm, which can take over in breathing and harden and tighten. So when we breathe, when we allow the feeling of the lower back ribs expanding, it begins to shift the nervous system. So when you feel the touch of that prop, and if you're lying on the floor, you can just feel the touch of the ground beneath your lower ribs. Can you give an equal amount of attention to how the back ribs are moving into the strap? So we tend to just focus on how the front ribs move forward. Is that true? I mean, if somebody just said, feel your rib cage moving, it would all be in the front body because we face the world from our front. We move forward, we accomplish. Can you feel the difference if you shift into the back? Now, as you feel the spreading of the back ribs, again, begin to notice. Now we know specifically that the diaphragm moves down on the inhale. Is there any sense of that downward movement? Do you feel your lumbar spine, your sacrum, your tailbone responding at all to that downward excursion on the inhale? If there's any feeling at all of the back pelvis kind of widening, deepening, tailbone softens or lengthens, that's an indication that those fascial connections all the way down the front of the spine, all the way down through the inner back lining of the pelvis are softening and being moved by this wave-like action. Are you able to give equal attention to the back ribs moving back and widening, and the front ribs moving forward? And now begin to sense that horizontal spreading that moves from the center outward to the right and to the left. And just that moment of, I called it pranabadayam, and that is just letting the mind merge into what the breath is doing. As if in this moment, this is all that matters. And if it is an energy that yogis call prana, that moves, rides the wave of the breath. So breath carries prana, and prana moves in a dynamic, fluid way. Does it seem to be less of a light, airy feeling in the breath, and more that the breath is actually a fluid, supportive, dynamic experience that gives us shape, that gives us a sense of inner support and strength? And something that, though always different, is predictably here for us. Is there any sense at all, just one more inquiry, that the spine somehow lengthens on the inhale, both toward the ground and toward the sky above? Is there even a small hint of the spine being naturally tractioned on the inhale? Naturally elongated. And then release.